If I don't have to do it, I won't. If I do have to, I'll do it quickly. That's the thing about my type, the INTJ, or whatever it's called. Introversion, intuition, thinking, judging. Those labels try to box up something that's a lot messier in practice. Let's get one thing straight. I'm not lazy, or not in the way people assume. When they see me napping or staring idly off into space, they whisper slacker, or worse, pity me for missing out on life. The funny thing is, sometimes I do wish I could join their game, enjoy the mindless chatter and frivolous activities that fill their days. But it's like they're playing a sport, one with a rule book I never got handed. It's about conservation of energy, nothing more, nothing less. But sometimes I wonder if there's more to it than just efficiency. Maybe it's a defense mechanism, avoiding disappointment, avoiding wasted effort if things end up pointless anyway. My ideal world involves minimal disturbance. Large groups, idle chatter, they're energetic black holes, sucking away what little motivation I have. I prefer my own company, or at least the company of those who understand the concept of comfortable silence. This is where they get tricky. My so-called deductions aren't some mystical power. It's simpler. I notice things, patterns, subtle shifts in behavior, the way information fits together. I see patterns instead of people, systems, not conversations. It's a constant hum in my head, the analyzing and dissecting of everything around me, and it's utterly exhausting. Social interaction is a cost-benefit equation to me. I don't fear people, I just find the effort rarely worth the payoff. My mind, that's my real world, that's where things get interesting. It's about seeing the why before the what. People get caught up in surface stuff. Who said what event's coming up next? I'm always looking deeper, trying to intuit the patterns, the underlying cause. To others, it can seem like I'm leaping to conclusions, or getting obsessed with irrelevant details. But that's how I connect the dots most others miss. Like with mysteries, they see a puzzle to solve. I see the whole system, its flaws, the point where it's bound to glitch. People mistake that for coldness, but feeling isn't the problem. Quite the opposite. I feel too much, too deeply, but it's all subterranean. Instead of wearing my heart on my sleeve, I analyze. Logic becomes my shield. It's not that I don't believe in emotion, it's that I don't trust it in its raw, unpredictable form. This always makes me sound uptight, but it's about needing order. Not so much wanting to control everything, but to understand everything. Fit it into a system that makes sense. Chaos is the true enemy. It's what trips me up socially, makes me seem rude or inflexible. That spontaneous group project, an utter nightmare. I need a plan, a clear structure, not so I can dominate, but so I don't fall completely apart. All these add up to an energy conservationist. That's the key. I hoard mental energy the way others hoard cash or snacks or sentimental junk. Why spend any of it on things I deem useless? Sometimes this comes across as arrogance. And hey, maybe there's a bit of that in there. I know my perspective is unusual. What's obvious to me often eludes everyone else, but it's less about feeling superior and more about feeling perpetually out of sync with whatever rhythm most of the world is dancing to. They talk about my potential like I'm some dormant volcano waiting to erupt, and that, I think, is where they totally miss the boat. I'm always at full capacity. It's just directed inward, towards solving my own internal puzzles. Is it fulfilling? That's a subjective question, isn't it? There's peace in it, in figuring things out, in seeing the system tick. The choice of other people's expectations, well, that's the noise I try to filter out. They tell me an energy-saving life is a wasted life. They worry about me ending up alone, bitter, regretful. I suppose that's possible. Any system can fall into decay if neglected, even the system of a single mind. But there's risk on the other side too. The risk of being perpetually overwhelmed, of drowning in the relentless demands of social interaction. I'm not naive enough to believe there's a perfect middle ground. And honestly, I don't much care for balance anyway. I want clarity, the ability to dissect my own thoughts as mercilessly as I analyze any external system. Maybe the rose-colored life everyone craves simply isn't my palette. I'll take the grayscale. At least the lines are sharp, the patterns brutally honest. The more I understand systems, the more flaws I see. The more clearly I identify the most efficient pathways, the more tempting it is to simply step aside, leave others to deal with the mess they seem intent on creating. But then, a mystery comes along, a puzzle that demands my attention, and that, I suppose, is my own curious contradiction.